Oh, in here. Come on in and come on in and come on in. Come on in. Episode 2 of season 2. I have a dream 2 on 222. Come on, y'all. Oh, season 2, episode 2, February 22nd, 2026. I have a dream too. That's the name of this particular episode. Come on in, come on in and do share. Come on in, come on in and do share. Let's go, let's go, let's go. And make sure, please make sure that as you enter, you say hello. Hello, so I can greet you in return. I have something I want to share with you before I get into today's topic. I want to share with you something that happened with me just today. The reason why I can smile and it's genuine and there is no um, pretending. I'm not very good at pretending, first of all, which is the reason why I'm kind of, well, not kind of, but I'm pretty introverted. And when I'm going through a thing, I'm probably not going to do a lot of communicating because I don't know how to really fake it, you know. And it's not like I don't think of course I had to wear masks in different places, but I think what I did in those circumstances is made sure that I was somehow understanding what was going on, where I was, and so I was able to, be real. I think there are many who may walk with me and they will notice that when I'm really going through something, if I have an assignment, you know, I gotta be quick about adjusting myself so that I'm able to do my assignment effectively. Nevertheless, I'm not really good at pretending, so therefore, um, I isolate a lot, especially when I am uh, in what I call a low, or what is called a low based on um, my diagnosis. And when I'm going through that, I kind of am very low key because I choose to walk as love and with love, don't want to take what I have going on out on others if I can help it. If I can help it, if I'm aware, if I know I'm going through it, I kind of, fall back. However, today, today, today I went to sleep, first of all, after about a 36-hour, almost a 48-hour stretch where I could not get to sleep. And I don't know why I'm starting on today's podcast with this, but hopefully you are here for it. If you are just joining me right now, go ahead and please say hello to me in the chat so that I can greet you. Say hello. I'm sharing a little bit of information first before we go into today's topic. Um, but I've been awake, and yes, I have long stretches of time where I can't get to sleep. And then there are also times when I will be up until I am so tired that I just have to sleep because my mind is racing a million miles per minute. If I fall asleep before I'm really ready to sleep, then I'm going to be not able to sleep, not able to rest. Blessings, Destiny, not able to rest. And so sometimes I'm just up until I'm so tired that I just can't help but to close my eyes. And then there are times when I just can't get to sleep. And so I was on I think almost 48-hour stretch, maybe 36. I'll give it around there, between 36 and 48. Let's just say that stretch of time where I wasn't able to sleep. And so when I went to sleep yesterday or last night, I actually went to sleep last night. Nope, I'm fibbing. What I ended up going to sleep midday, almost midday. Told Christian, I said, "Hey, mommy's gonna have to take a nap. Haven't been to sleep yet." He hit me with, so I had to take a nap. When I went to sleep though, and the reason why I didn't want to go to sleep then is because I was like, I'm gonna wake up. It's gonna be like 10, 11, 12. Then I'm not gonna be able to go back to sleep. And that's exactly what happened. So I slept, went to sleep midday, woke up about 10 something, was up. But I actually wasn't up all to today like I thought I would be. I was up, went back to sleep for a few hours, got back up this morning, about 8:30, which was good, right? Good for me to get some more things done, get our promos up for today's talk. Um, but I woke up feeling different. And many of you know I talk a lot about cycles. I have a lot of cycles and I go through them very rapidly. But when I begin to feel what the saints or the old school saints may call, I feel my help coming on. When I get to that place, that means that there is something shifting that is so necessary, that it just has to happen. And I have that feeling today. So prophetically, I'm going to declare something over you before I even get to the topic. If you have not shared this already, go ahead and do share this. If you have not greeted me yet, said hello, please do say hello. But prophetically, I want to declare something to you as I felt it being declared to me within. When you come to grips with the fact that life is going to move in waves, that life is going to have cycles, life is going to have the highs, the lows, the in-betweens, the cold, the hot. It's going to have the times that you consider to be wonderful, happy, joyful, and there are going to be the times where you don't feel like that. The seasons change in our lives, just like the seasons change in nature. All right. You have the summer, the winter, spring, fall. And in your life, you have seasons too. And there are going to be times where you are going through so much. And especially right now, in this time, there's such a great mass loneliness, grief. There's a lot going on in the universal atmosphere, right? And we're all feeling it. So when you go through your own personal, individual, unique stuff, it's going to feel even heavier, even denser. And so I'm here to share with you, many of you today, if you can receive this, this is the time of a great shift in your favor. This is a time of a great shift in your favor. Now, let me go ahead and give you the real. If all you ever sow is negativity, then you're just going to see the same pattern of negativity. That's just real. You're going to be favored by negativity. All right. Favor's coming regardless. But what is the favor that you're going to be experiencing? If all you ever sow is negativity, I'm talking about negativity as far as your words, as far as how you treat other people, as far as your thoughts about what you're good at, what you're not good at, what you can do, what you can't do. If all you fed yourself over this particular season past, because it is the season past, we have shifted. I think the shift started a couple of days ago, but we have shifted into, my God help me today. Y'all, I am so overly full. I think I might have to go live later in another capacity because I feel it so strongly. And many of you are feeling it, but you're afraid to trust it because it seems like every time a little bit happens, a little bit good, a little bit of good, quote unquote, good happens, then something else happens right after it. And I believe that's because we are not fully understanding of the fact that, yes, life goes in waves. And so you may have some joyful days. And if you keep yourself right centered in a place of love and of joy and peace, if you are a seeker after these things, the things that are of good report, then you will feel these more often, and you will often be able to feel them when you are going through the worst circumstances, because you've already sown so much of the you know, I know what this is. I know that life changes. I know that life shifts. So why am I stressing about it so much still? Once you get to that place, then you have a different time. However, many of you have been sowing into your life, and you may not even notice it. You may not be paying attention, right? You may not be paying attention to the fact that you literally have been sowing some good stuff into your life, and it is time for the harvest. It is time for the harvest. Some of you have been sowing in your businesses. You have been sowing in your relationships. You've been getting your back kicked in some areas, but you've still been trying to show up and do your heart work. And you're like, you know what? I'm a love walker, and you may not call it a love walker, but I'm pursuing the mind of Christ. I'm pursuing this spiritual walk. So therefore, I have a different thing that I'm pursuing, a different thing that I'm pouring and sowing into myself. And so when that is the case, then this time right here, this time of reaping of harvest is going to show you that you have not been off base at all. And so I woke up this morning after the second nap. I woke up feeling this shift so strong. And I can't tell you no word of lie. I need it. I literally need it. I need it because um, the pressure and the weight of the past couple of years has been so much that I literally can feel the back bending and almost breaking. Yeah. And so many of you have been in that situation. But because of the dynamic in the earth, I'm going to go ahead and be real honest with you. A lot of the loneliness, depression, the grief of the nation, of the universe is not shifting with you, right? Some of it is. There's some things that are changing and things, but the global situation right now, the way that things are going in this earth, let me just put it in the earth. I don't want to even say universe because the universe has shifted. But in this particular hemisphere, there are still going to be some things that are going to brush you the wrong way. There's still going to be some things that you're like, I just don't understand this. I do not get this. Why is this happening? And because that is the case, you may look at this time and say, but is it really changing? Is the shift really here? Well, if you got to ask the question, then more than likely you're not ready. Bless us, Nadia. If you have to ask the question, then more than likely you're not ready for this shift. If you are absolutely ready for this, then you have already put yourself in a posture right now, wherever you're sitting, you have already put yourself in a posture of, yes, yes, I'm ready. Yes, 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 and yes. Okay. So the shift is happened. And so, yes, the dynamics of the United States, the dynamics of the globe is in uproar. There's, again, a lot of loneliness feeling. There's a lot of grief. There's so many transitionings happening. People, transitioning out of jobs, relationships, children transitioning from mothers who are like, I don't really know what to do with myself if I don't have this to focus on. I know I have that thing. I know a couple of my other team members and those that I love, they have that same thing going on. And then there are those of you who are like, listen, I'm ready. I'm ready for whatever changes come. So this is happening. This is happening. It gives me the courage. Yeah, it gives me courage to be able to walk into this new season of this podcast and of my life without feeling as if, God, is this really going to happen? Love, is this really going to happen? Because the truth of the matter is, and I declare it and decree it even now, that it is. It already is. So if you feel that little leap within you, if you feel a little bit lighter today, even if you still feel some of your heaviness, but you're like, well, I feel like something may be trying to, wake up and shake up a little bit, then by all means lean into that. It is time. It is time. This will not change the fact that life is still going to go in cycles. This is not going to change the fact that life is still going to have its highs and lows, its cold days, its warm days, its hot, scorching days. It's not going to change the fact, because everything that God has put into motion is intentional, right? The time for planting, the time for pruning, the time for plucking up, all of that, right? You read Ecclesiastes, and if you haven't, then read Ecclesiastes. Solomon wasn't delusional. He was living and he was wise. And so he found a lot of things that were like, yeah, but this is still going to be. So eat, drink, and be merry. Make memories. Be mindful. Be in the moment. So nevertheless, y'all, this is happening. And so I still feel isolated a bit. I still feel like, I'm still at that place where, and I know this is not for me to say to everybody, so whoever's listening, please take this into consideration, that I'm a vulnerable person, all right? I'm very emotional. And I feel like there could be just one or two things, something that could happen that could try to tip me over a little bit. So I'm not going to pretend like I don't have this little bit of jitteriness, like, okay, God, is this it? Is it really the transition? Is it really the shift? Are you really, ready to send everything I need to get this accomplished? And I'm here for it. So I wanted to share that with you first before I got into anything else. But welcome to today's podcast. This is the Love Walk Approach podcast. And I am Dr. Shalonda Treasure Williams-Lynard, and I am known to the world as the Inspirational Treasure. I am a best-selling author. I am an inspirational speaker. Won some awards for that too. I am a coach. I am a pastor, an apostle, a prophet. I'm kind of some of everything. And I think I have a saying that whatever treasure you're looking for, we're all here doing whatever it is that the great I am needs us to do in this particular life that I'm living. And I hold true to that. So I have many of labels. People know me from different capacities. One way or another, you are going to accept the fact that this is just about love for me. All of it. All of it. Not because I'm perfect at it, but because it's the path that I've chosen. And it's the path that I choose not to abandon. And that makes life a little bit tender sometimes, because love in and of itself is the ultimate maturity. Love is the full realization. Love is full realization of who you are, how you were expressed, all that stuff. So I choose not to abandon it. But I'm here for it. And I'm glad that you're here with us today. Listen, today's topic is I Have a Dream Too, and it is based on the Apostolic Appeal and the original poem that is in our new book, which is The Love Walk Approach, a modern spiritual philosophy rooted in ancient universal love. If you have not already downloaded your copy, if you have not already gotten yours, let me see if I can go ahead and put this up for you so you can there it is. There it is. And yes, it is only in Kindle for now. And the reason that it is only in Kindle for now is because I call this our online textbook. It's our online textbook and curriculum. It is for all those who either know that your walk is to pursue love and to mature in love and to come to the fullness of who you are, awakening the love self within. If you call yourself a love walker, if you know that that path is where we're headed, if you're prophetic, you know that love is about to be governor of all things. And that's what we're walking into. And so whatever the reason you download this, please go ahead and do so. It is our online curriculum again, $4.99. That's it. That's all you're paying for the Kindle version. And there may be a day that I do some hardback copy books, of course, when we do tours or when we're having our live events of something, maybe. But right now, let's be on one accord. So go ahead and download your copy. And hear this. Everything within these pages are prophetic. It's all prophetic. It's all everything that God has given me over these years, and it's compiled into this book for understanding. And it also is a movement. Did I say it out loud? It's a movement, y'all. The Love Walk approach is a movement. So you will hear me say, you will see me on different platforms say, hey, let's love walk approach this life together. Right? Let's love walk approach this life together. Because when we approach it from the perspective of love from God, then we understand that we are all one. We understand that the dividing lines that we see in the earth have more to do with us than it does with anything else, with our idea of what life should be, how people should be, how they should do things, what they should believe, because what we grow up with, we think is the bottom line. Right? Like nobody else in the world has any idea what it means to live life except for you, your mama, them. Right? And so we have to get in the place where we begin to see life through a different perspective and a different set of eyes. And this message has reverberated over decades, centuries, millennia, right? People have showed up in every single time in this earth as a love walk agent of sort to be able to give us a message that is relevant and timely. Yeah. And so there are many love walk agents that are out there. I am not the only one. However, this is my assignment, the love walk approach. All right. And so I want you to be present for today's conversation. If you already have the book and you have reread or read the Apostolic Appeal, the I Have a Dream poem, then you know where I'm going today. And we're just going to touch on a few points from it. I will not give the entire book away. You have to order it and read it for yourself. Not just read it, but embody it. Take it in. Yeah, because this is the answer to most of our questions. It's the answer to most of our healing questions. How can I be healed? How can I be whole? How can I, feel better about myself, about my life? Well, you do it with this practice, right? Many of us have tried a lot of things. I grew up for sure in fundamentalism in Christianity. I do not abandon that. I do believe that I was introduced and born into that because I needed to know who Christ Joshua was so that I could understand the walk, so that I can begin to really pursue the same mind, right? The Christ mind that was in Joshua, and that thought it not robbery to find itself is equal with God. All right. Blessings upon blessings to you. Is it say Berkshire 100 blessings? So I've been on this journey. And so the culmination of that in this particular book, and of course I've written a whole lot of other books, dozens of books, and I will write more. But this foundation is for the movement. This foundation is for the ones who understand the language I talk, the ones that are not afraid to explore past where they are because they understand that what I've been doing my whole life hasn't worked yet. And so now I have to walk into something different. And so I believe that everything that I received over my lifetime was intentional. Yeah. And I don't throw any of it away. Not any of it. Not even the stuff that I thought was mistakes. Not even the things that I pray that never, ever, and nobody ever has to hear. Right. There's some things you like, Lord, please don't let nobody know. But I do not feel ashamed of anything that has ever happened. Not anymore. And the reason why I don't is because I understand that I went through all of those things to get to this place, this level of maturity and faith. And I do have leaps and bounds to go. So do we all. But when we decide that this is something that we want to do, then you need something to kind of help you along the process. So if you have not already downloaded the Love Walk Approach, a modern spiritual philosophy, rooted in ancient universal love. If you have not already done that, please go ahead and do that so that when we do these episodes every week, I believe for the next 22 weeks, this season is going to last a little while, that you'll be ready. You'll know what I'm talking about. You won't feel lost. I will talk in a language where anybody who hasn't read the book yet can fully understand what I'm saying. But for those of you who are saying that, yeah, this is the path that I need, this is the practice that I need, not focused on anything superficial, but so focused on my inner self, awakening the love self within me, that's what I'm doing. And so if that's you, welcome. I'm glad you're here. All right. So today I have a dream too. Again, this is February 22nd. So this is 222. This is season 2, episode 2. And I have a dream too is the topic for today. And so we in these twos. And for those of y'all who already know what it is as far as giving, pouring love into this ministry, being a Love Walk Vision partner, then you already know February's numbers, right? February's numbers already had the twos in it. And so whatever love gift you choose to give today, there is a QR code up there for that. You can do that at any time during the broadcast. That just says, hey, I believe in the vision. I believe in the movement. And I want to give something to that. All right. So it's 222. It is season 2, episode 2. And we're talking about having the dream. Now, if you've already read the book, then you know that I begin by inserting pieces and clips from Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.'s I Have a Dream speech. It is not so that I can redo his speech. You cannot redo his speech. It was timeless. It's still timeless. It was profound. It was absolutely what was necessary. And if I can be honest with you, I don't think that he knew that it would have this profound of an effect, that it would still be, after all of these years, something that people go back to for the sake of receiving some type of power. Now, here's the thing. Many people look at his speech because he was doing it during the civil rights movement. He was trying to get equal rights as far as African Americans were concerned, things like that. And so many people look at his speech as a political statement of stopping racism. But the reality is that I Have a Dream, his speech was about unity and being unified. And if that's not the message of love, I don't know what is. And so I Have a Dream too in this book, in this apostolic appeal, is just that. It is a prophetic declaration and apostolic appeal, meaning that I'm appealing to you. I'm appealing to whoever is listening to say that, listen, Christ Joshua and other Love Walk agents throughout the ages, including Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., including him, they were Love Walk agents. right? Not perfect in all of their ways. And we can talk about perfection in the sense that we believe it, but they had to grow and learn and develop and mature too. And having love as their foundation was everything, because the message that they needed to give had everything to do with the great I am. Christ Joshua, I will say this: I worship that which is beyond. I believe that love is synonymous, first of all, and that love is all things, because God is all things. God is omnipresent. There's never an absence. And that is as us, for us, among us, within us, and beyond us. And so love, God being beyond us, is where the worship begins for me. And when I think back to Christ Joshua in scripture, it was always about the Father for him. It was always about love for him, always about God for him. And so I choose to follow that, right? We have turned in this lifetime, and I'm not speaking against what other people choose to do, but we have turned worship of Christ Joshua into our thing, but that's not what he ever asked. He came to be the model and example, and his example was, hey, the Father. Why calleth me good? There's none good but the Father. And then when he came to this revelation, this intense awakening that I and the Father are one, that was a revelation for all mankind. It was a revelation for the total awakening within, that we literally, God cannot not be all. I want y'all to hear that. It sounds crazy, but God cannot not be it. You can't be omnipresent and not be all. Yeah. And so that includes everything that is reflected. That includes us. That includes everything that you can see and everything that you cannot see. And so I follow in pursuit with Christ Joshua in that regard, to where I worship God because God is beyond me. Love is beyond me. And there are things that I will never be able to do, nor should I ever want to do them. Because the more that you have as a capacity, the more you got to carry. And there are some things that I just don't want to carry. That's why you carry it. That's why the next person carries it. That's why the next person is gifted to do what they do. That's why you have the strength to do what you do. Because all of us together, everything together, makes up the greater whole. The great I am, the omnipresent one, source, spirit, everything that you can call it. Because God is so massive. So when I consider this, and I consider every Love Walk agent that has come over time teaching the exact same message, coming to their people or coming to people opposing their people, all they're saying is, listen, we are one, let's start acting like it. Yeah, we are one, let's stop acting like it. We are one, let's stop acting like it. Let's start. Did I say stop? I don't want to say stop. I wanted to say start. I hope I said start. If I didn't say start, I'm saying start. All right. We are one. So let's start acting like it. All right. Let's start acting like it. And so in I Have a Dream 2, in the Apostolic Appeal, I'm going to give you some points, some words that I put in that book that I just want to highlight for you today. And so I hope that you're here for it. All right. Hope that you're here for it. One of the pieces says, I have a dream too, that the lines drawn in the sand of creation will no longer be used to divide what God, who is love, has already declared one. I think I just said that. Like, there are lines drawn in the sand when God already has declared and even shown forth that I am all of it. I'm all of it. I love them just as much as I love you. I have no respecter of persons, because I am literally is that for line? One love, one God. They got to be for long, because I think I remember that. Hey. So it's already been spoken today. We are one. There's one existence, and every expression comes out of that one being. And so we're drawing lines in the sand, separating ourselves from other people because we don't like what they say, how they say it, how they look, what they choose. And now let me be very clear to you. Christ Joshua walked with his disciples. Now, mind you, he had to call people out of their mindset, the mindset that they had. He had to call them out of the bondage of the mind. It's not that they couldn't have lived in their religion. Because he didn't ask them to stop living in their particular religion, but he did say to them, basically, I need you to embody this. I need you to embody the very reason why you first started this whole thing in the first place. You were listening to the great I am. You were listening to God. You were listening to that voice that says, hey, bring these people together. Do this for your culture. Do this for your family. It wasn't to separate you from other people, but it was so that you can have this space, incubate in a space where you felt safe, where you felt understood, where you had a group of people that understood and could relate to what you were dealing with and going through, right? You got that. But that doesn't mean I need you to mistreat anybody else in the process. Because you are one. Just different expressions. You are one. Just different expressions. And so we have dividing lines. And as we love walk approach this life together, we got to begin to see it. We got to begin to see those dividing lines that we have put in the sand. We got to begin to look at the things that we do to exclude others. One of the things that I've noticed is that, especially for those of us who are coming into a place of maturity, people, we call it awakening, we call it enlightenment, we call it a lot of different things. We call it soul salvation. Yeah, when your soul is actually saved, it's because you have now understood the awakening process, that you are coming into the understanding that I and the Father are one. There is no separation between God and everything that exists. But when you're coming out of that, when you're coming out of your religious practice, or you're not coming out of it, but when you're getting a greater understanding of it, many people kind of go all the way out, right? And when I say all the way out, what I mean is we're so frustrated and tired from what we've experienced in church, in mosque, and in synagogues, all these different things. We get so frustrated and tired with the things that we've experienced in those places that we don't just kind of leave and get some understanding. We almost abandon everything. We get angry, we get frustrated. Oh, I refuse to deal with this. I will not take this anymore. I will not do that anymore. All of these different things because of frustration. But if we really begin to apply that which we have learned about the awakening of the self, about the cleansing of the heart, the purification of the heart, about living totally by faith. In other words, living based on what you are fully convinced of. Because if you are not fully convinced of it, why are you doing it anyway? Right? Of course, because of learned bondage and all that different stuff. We know how it came about. But that's the question. If it's not faith, if it's not you living it because this is what you believe to, at whatever level your faith is, then why are you doing it? So people kind of abandon instead of opening themselves up to understand the fullness of the message. Like I'm angry, I'm frustrated, I hate the way that I was treated in certain places. However, I understand that everybody in those circumstances were in a different place of maturity at the time. Right? They taught me what they knew. They couldn't give me what they didn't know or what they didn't have. And so when you begin to love walk approach this life, you begin to see things through a different set of lenses, because you're not just here to point the finger and say everything hurt me, everything corrupted me, everything made me bad. No, you're here to say, you know what? I will not become the very thing that hurt me, because that kind of contradicts my anger, my frustration. Right? Like you angry and you mad and you frustrated at people who may have wronged you over time, another portion of this greater whole, right? Another person that's an expression of the great I am, just like you. You're frustrated at them for being immature. I know somebody got their notebook out, so just write it. You're frustrated. I have been frustrated, definitely frustrated with people because of their immaturities or the places where they have not yet grown. And sometimes I'm frustrated with them. I mean, and we can all attest, we've been frustrated with people who have grown, right? Because they seem to be so much at a different level. And, you know, we say, oh, they think they better. Oh, they this, they that. So we have our frustrations. But most of the time we are frustrated with people because they are still maturing and growing, just like you, just like me. And so when you choose the love walk approach, what you're saying is, I'm not excusing the things that have happened. I'm not excusing it as if it wasn't relevant. It never hurt me. It didn't matter. But I am not carrying it with me anymore. because me judging them is like, again, how can I get mad if somebody judges me? How can I get upset if somebody is talking about everything about me that they consider to be awful if I'm doing the same thing to others? No, we're all on a maturation journey. We're all trying to get to the fullness of this expression called love. And so in this time, you have got to make a decision for yourself, and for your inner man, that I won't look at things the same. So whereas you were looking before through the eyes of, oh, and my enemy's gonna fall, and God gonna prepare the table before me in the presence of my enemies. Everything is about the enemies and the enemies and the enemies and the enemies, and the devil's busy and the devil's busy. That's your conversation all the time. And so how do you expect your life to change or be different if your focus doesn't change? And so instead of always focusing on everything that is that, see, the dream can't be fulfilled. The dream that love is governor cannot be fulfilled if you're still going to hold on to all of that. And so in the love walk approach, you change your idea or your thought process. In other words, I'm not trying to figure out why it happened, who did it. I'm not trying to figure out how to get hard and callous within myself. No, I begin to look with real eyes. I begin to look with real eyes. Everybody is on a journey of maturation. Now, does this mean that you have to continue to be in situations that you can't live out by faith? And what I mean by that is there are many who are debating, well, I can forgive them, but do I have to continue to deal with certain people and this, that, and the other? And the reality is that you always have choice. But you want to be mindful that you do not make choices based on your frustration and your anger. You want to be mindful that you don't make these judgment calls based on what you hear other people say about other people. You want to be mindful that you are not just looking at this life as an experience that I should hate. When you are love walk approaching this life, what you're saying is, I just choose to look at things a little bit different than I did before. When Christ Joshua was walking this earth, if you are one who understands the mind of Christ, or you are in pursuit of understanding the mind of Christ, then what you understand is that Christ understood. Yeah, Father, forgive them, for they know not what they do. It wasn't just something he said because he was at this place of dying and in position. And he said it because he understood. They are just at the level of maturity that they're at. Yeah, they don't want to be disloyal to what they have learned. They don't want to be disloyal to the customs of their time. Much of it, of course, is because of fear. We're afraid that we're going to disappoint the people in our world. We don't want to be offbeat with people. We don't want to have too much, going on. We don't want them to be mad or angry. But many of them just simply believed what they were taught. And in those teachings, they were kind of taught, don't you go outside of this. Because if you do, you are being disloyal. And so he understood that. He understood what they were raised to believe. He understood. Now, we in this time, we have what is called the Holy Bible. We have different sacred texts, but the Holy Bible is a compilation. It's a book full of different texts and different stories and different testimonies from people piled together. Some books left out, so you have other books with those, other books with that in it. And so you have all these different scripts, these different words and testimonies from people. And in those testimonies, you can see where their doctrine came from. They were speaking based on what they grew up with. They lived based on what they grew up with, the rules. There are a lot of things that they did back then that we wouldn't do in this day and age. And then there are some who choose to only do what they did because they believe that that's what they're supposed to do. Father, forgive them, for they know not what they do. That may have to be your prayer for a while in order for this dream to come to pass. So let me go ahead and go a little bit further. If my people who are called by my name would humble themselves, pray, seek my face, turn from their wicked ways, then I will hear from heaven and heal their land. Now, I can go really, really deep into that right now based on the metaphysical perspective of things, but I'm going to leave that for a moment. I'll just say this. Love was already speaking. If my people, there's none of us that are not expressions of the great I am, who are called by my name. and you shall know them by their fruit. When you're called by the name, you begin to adjust some things and shift some things. And if you are paying attention, then your heart will automatically want to cleanse anything in there that is causing the divisions, that is causing the issues and the circumstances. Your heart begins to shift automatically because it wants to be in alignment. Humble yourself, pray, seek my face. Now, when you think about that and you think about face, you're definitely not talking about a physical face of God. So what are we talking about? What are we talking about? We're talking about the very essence, right? The physical face of God shows up as all of us, right? In the spirit realm, it may be a different vision, right? So, the light, the strength. And so God has already spoken. And of course, we don't know originally what this person heard, and we don't know originally what people said. We can only go based off of what we have. But because I resonate with that prayer, with those words, then I hear from heaven and heal the land. Well, the kingdom of God, the kingdom of heaven is within. So within, there'll be a shift. Within, there'll be this desire to do something different. And so when you choose the love walk approach this thing, you just choose to see things through a different set of lenses. So listen, we have these divides. We have divides that are not just political. We have divides that are not just spiritual or religious. We have sexual orientation lines. We have economic lines. We have mental capacity lines, right? We have all of these different lines that have been drawn in the sand. If you are this, I cannot associate. You don't know these people. You ain't never talked to them. You ain't never asked questions about the culture. You never asked any, you've never done any of that, but you truly have this idea in your mind that somehow they're supposed to be on this side of the line and you're supposed to be on this side of the line, and you cannot cross that line, and you can't let nobody in. Growing up fundamentalist, you learn a thing or two. You hear a lot across the pulpit. But it was all a contradiction to what the person we was worshiping was saying. Christ Joshua didn't speak from that perspective. I mean, as he matured, because even in his maturity, he had some moments where he definitely could have come across as religious, right? But then when he got to this certain place, you didn't see him shun others. He came to give a message to those who were teaching one thing, but being hypocritical about what they were teaching. But it didn't change the fact that he still accepted them. He still listened or heard them when they talked. So there are so many dividing lines. Let's see. We talked about the race, right? Political parties, sexual orientation, all of the different things that we choose to allow to separate us. Yeah, we are far into it. We get into it. I mean, to the point where you kind of toot your nose up at another sorority or another fraternity. I mean, people who just on the opposite side. Now, people who have a little fun and they have their little, this is my tribe against your tribe, and we having some fun with this thing and we're just enjoying each other. That's a little different. But when you are so into what you got going on, into your tribe, into your own group of people, that it draws a line in the sand, then you got to be able to consider that as a love walker. Do I have lines drawn in the sand? Now, there are certain things I still won't do based on my own faith. According to my faith, be it unto me. There's certain things that I may not want to participate in. And of course, as we continue to grow in love, we'll be able to respect somebody else's desire to or not to do something. But we're dividing or putting lines in the sand based on this, and we shouldn't. And I did say shouldn't as a love walker. However you choose to live, that's up to you. But if you are choosing to walk in love, choosing to walk according to the mind of Christ, then there is just some things that you are going to have to mature and grow out of. Yeah. Unity as we call it, as I'm calling it, unity as the ultimate show of love. Unity as the ultimate show of love does not mean uniformity. It doesn't mean that uniqueness is not important. Come on, y'all. We know that uniqueness is important. You know, we wake up every day and we're different than the person that could be laying next to us. We wake up every day and the other people in the house with us is different. We walk outside and there's differences, different preferences. And then you have those who may enjoy it and they get together in a group and they enjoy it. You know, they want to have crab ball, right? Some people can be there and some people are allergic, so they can't. So we are different, but yet there are some things that bring us together. But as a love walker in this space of love, then you have to understand that there is uniqueness, but unity is when you take all of that uniqueness and realize that it all has its place. Yeah. And that it works together. Blessings, sweetheart. Blessings. All of the uniqueness in one space, in one world, in one universe creates the greater whole. Unity doesn't mean uniformity. I don't need to show up as you to be relevant. I don't need to show up as you to say, you know, well, I mean, we might as well, we got to be all together. In order for us to be on one accord, then you got to wear this and you got to do this and you got to stop this and you can't be this. No. Love, God, has expressed as all things at the same time, all the time. So unity doesn't mean uniformity. It doesn't mean that I take everything that is unique about myself and throw it away so I can look just like you. No, it is in the uniqueness. It is in the unique expressions. Every unique expression is God saying, hey, I think that's relevant. I think you beautiful. I think you fit here. You belong. That's what I believe. So if you are a love walker, yes, you will still have, you know, some will still have their religious practices, because what you practice, listen, it is the heart behind the practice. The practice itself is what it is. There's nothing unclean in it of itself, but the heart behind the practice makes all the difference. And so if you are drawing lines in the sand, dividing people, dividing who's worthy, who's not worthy, instead of understanding that everybody is at a different level of maturity. Everybody is at a different level of understanding the fullness of love. Listen, even when I could be talking to my coachees, I could be talking to my children, I could be talking to my husband, I could be talking to my mama, I could be talking to my siblings, I could be talking to somebody sitting at a bus stop, I could be talking to all of these different people, knowing that they are absolutely unique within themselves and still understand that we are but one. Without their uniqueness, without their individuality, what I'm doing is not relevant. I could be talking to them and know that they're all in a different level or a different place of maturity. This is a part of what begins, what I've been working through for this past couple of years has been really tough. And I've had to work through a lot of what I'm writing, a lot of the prophetic things that God has been giving me to say in these books, and on my shows and podcasts. I've been having to try to force myself sometimes to still show up, because I'm feeling so depressed, so sad, so emotional about how life is going, that I'm like, God, I don't know if I could teach this. I don't want to be a hypocrite. And God says, you're not a hypocrite for learning it. You're not a hypocrite for living it. What does that mean? It means that you're not being hypocritical if you're trying to learn the lesson. And that's exactly what happens. I sit with myself, I cry, I have my emotions, I scream, I do whatever it is that I need to do in real time. And then I begin to process what this means through the eyes of love. This situation is happening. What does this mean through the eyes of love? I know that love has no respect of persons. Man, when I tell you this is one of them lessons, I had to really sit with this, because Love being no respecter of persons, and me being a spiritual teacher. Because everything in us, and as a human being, we've learned biases. We've learned to put this before this. We learn to put this person before this person. We learn to do this. But love is just. Love is fair, which means that love doesn't make judgment calls based on who you are. Love just is. I had to learn that. And when I say uncomfortable, it is an uncomfortable thing for me, because I don't like for people to feel bad. I don't like for people to feel hurt. I don't like for people. So I'm always trying to figure out, okay, how can I make sure that everybody feels okay? How can I make sure that everybody feels right? And God says, you just simply have to be. Everything else around, because here's the truth. If I lean to this side or I lean to that side, and I don't know, then I'm not being just. I'm not being fair. Right? And so when you begin to understand this through love's lenses, okay, God, I get it. Listen, y'all, my one of my closest friends, he just said to me the other day that I was gonna have to talk about some things, and I don't know if I'm fully ready to talk too much about certain things, but I will say this. These lessons are not always easy. Sometimes everything in you is going to want to run back to what's familiar. Everything in you is going to want to run to one side or another and say, you know what, I got to choose this, or I got to do this. And then love stops you and says, hey, I am for all. I am for all. And if you are following my path, if you are following me, then you are learning how to be for all. And with that being said, your judgments, your decisions, your everything are going to have to be different. And when you are growing through this stuff, man, it is so tough, because you just want to kind of lay it all down and be like, you know what, I can't do it. I can't do it. I've had so many thoughts, so many feelings, so many emotions. And yet, because I choose to walk this path, either I'm going to accept the truth of it or I'm not. For they that worship God do so in spirit and in truth, not based on the superficial things that we see every day, because it's all temporary. All of it, even the stuff that we cling to as solid gold, baby, it is temporary. And so growing into this space, it challenges you, yes, but it matures you, it grows you. And guess what? Everybody's going through the same experience. And so when you're talking to someone and they're in a place of immaturity or at a level that you don't fully understand, this is where the love walk comes in. This is where the love walk approach comes in. When you begin to think of things through a different set of eyes, you remember, you know what? That dream of love being the governor of all things, that's going to mean that we got to begin to embody that love within us so we can show up as that love, so that then outside of us, yeah, it begins to all come into perspective. The dividing lines, the getting mad at people because they don't fall into uniformity with you. Your tribes are healthy. Yeah, it's good to fit somewhere. It's good to have people that understand you. But are they understanding your truth? Are they understanding the real of you? Are they understanding the truth of who God has made you to be? Or are they understanding a false impression? Tribes are healthy, but healthy when truth is present. God is not mad at you having places that you go and places that you fit in. But we do not have a tribe and forget that the other tribe is just as important as we are. I know. It's kind of one of them things. You're like, I don't know if I really want to get with this, Apostle. I don't really want to know. I don't know if I want to really buy into all this love stuff. I mean, I heard Jesus' message. I heard the messages of Dr. King. I heard, certain, I don't know if I'm with it. And guess what? You are free to be at that level. But when you choose this love walk, you are saying, I choose to see through the eyes of love. Yep, I choose to see through the lies too. Lies, all this other stuff. Because love is going to show. I had to pause many a times because, I have to pause many a times and pray. Ask God for answers. Show me what I need to see. Help me to conduct myself in the way that I need to until there's an answer. And then after there's an answer, show me what I need to do next. How do I need to handle this? Because if I try to do this from a false place, then I'm not showing love at all. Yeah, sometimes love feels, because it's all things. It's the lessons, it's the coziness, it's the comfort, it's the resistance, it's the stress sometimes. It is all things. And so everything having its perfect place. But in this dream, love is governor. And we begin from the inside. So even if another person is not where you should be, or not, wait, not should, not in that regard, but even if another person is not where you are, they're still relevant to love. It's in Romans 14 at the very beginning where it says, you welcome all, even the weaker in faith, without argument. I'm still working on those parts. I don't really argue about spiritual stuff. I kind of shun most of that stuff, confronting about all of that, because I know people are free to kind of. But we have this life, and we can either choose to love walk, approach it, or we can continue to stay in the same place of immaturity, spinning our wheels, having the same cycles happen over and over and over again. But I have a dream too. And my dream says that love governs all, and it's coming. That's why the prophetic and the apostolic appeal and the prophetic declaration has come forth, because we're moving into a different dispensation. Oh my. Where love is governor. And if you are going to be uncomfortable in that space, then let me say it like this. The uncomfortableness that you're feeling right now is because we are shifting into that space. So your heart is being challenged. Yeah. And this time we have therapy, we have counselors, we have coaches, we have different people, spiritual guides that are helping us in this season. If you are dealing with anybody who is teaching you anything other than how to live in coexistence with others, then you're going to have to check some things if you're choosing to walk with love, because they would never set you up to hate another just to love yourself. Love is the master healer. And it shows us that the ultimate healing comes when we embrace it full unity. When we understand that we are not very different. We just are unique. In other words, when I say different, we're all going through the same cycles of life. So get down and start erasing these lines that you've drawn in the sand. Start erasing these lines that you've drawn in the sand. I have a dream too. So if you have already started reading this book, then you've read the Apostolic Appeal. You've already read the message of I Have a Dream Too. You've already hopefully been sitting with it, trying to embody it. If your life has been so busy that you have not been in your practice, what's your practice? Whatever that thing is that you're doing, that spiritual thing that you're doing to try to get your heart to be cleansed so that you can grow into maturity, so that you can have your soul's salvation. Your soul salvation is not about whether you're going to die and go to the burning sulfur. Your soul salvation is about saving your soul. Your soul from the anger, the rage, the hostility, the fear. Perfect love casts out all fear. So as you pursue this love walk, then fear is going to begin to dissipate, because the things that shift and change in your heart are going to cause that to happen. But it's something that we all have to be willing to do. So listen, I'm going to give you 3 calls to action. All right. I'm going to give you 3 calls to action. I believe it's 3. Let me check myself. All right. Yeah. All right. So I'm going to give you 3 calls to action. If you have your notebooks and your journals, by the way, I don't know if I told y'all this season, please make sure you show up here with your notebooks, with your journals, with your pens, paper, because you may hear something and be like, look, I need to go ahead and I need to write that down. You may go back and look at the video again and get some points, but I want you to always have something with you so you can take notes, stuff that you can apply or begin to apply to your life even now. So the first love walk call to action, that's what I call them, love walk call to action. I want you to listen to or re-listen to Dr. King's speech. If you never listened before, listen. And if you could, you can find it on YouTube, of course, or somewhere online. And if you've already listened to it, listen to it again. This time I want you to listen through the ears of love. All right. I want you to listen through the ears of love. I want you to journal what was spiritual about what he was saying. Now, this is a message, and I told you, even though the message was happening during the civil rights time, this was absolutely a love message, right? Love speaking out loud and saying, hey, there's too much division. There's too much of this going on. But what was spiritual about his message? What still remains unfinished, right? When you listen to his message, what still hasn't happened yet? What still remains unfinished? And what is my role? That's you. What is your role in the continuation, right? It pulled on me as I was writing. Prophetically, I was led to it. So it's an echo. It's still echoing, right? The power behind this speech is still echoing all over the world. It's always been reverberating. There's just different people who got places in this life that hears that echo, that feels the vibration of it, and they pick it up, and they're able to articulate and say some things. And so I want you to ask yourself again those questions. What's spiritual about his message? What still remains unfinished? And what is your role in the continuation of it? Right? Looking through the eyes of love, listening through the ears of love. Answer those questions. The second call to action is to examine your inner throne. Woo. Who is governing my reactions right now? Who? Is love governing my reactions right now? Or is fear, hostility, hatred, division, lines in the sand? What's governing right now within? We already know that Jesus made it very plain. The kingdom is within us, right? That's what we're pursuing. We're pursuing the kingdom of God, and that kingdom is within us. And so we know, we go within ourselves. What is on the throne of your heart? What's controlling your reactions in this time? Love or fear? When you are having a conversation with someone, check that. Is love governing me here, or is fear? And now fear encompasses all these things. Everything that happens, even when we do things to hurt other people, that's somewhere, fear is somewhere up in there. Fear of losing control, fear of not being able to, fear of not being able to control what happens with you causes us sometimes to do things to others. Bullies are bullies because of fear most of the time. Fear of looking like they're a punk. Fear of their parents or friends saying something that they don't do certain things. Fear governs. So what is governing your reaction? All right, when you're in conversation, when you're dealing with someone, because some of y'all are doing forgiveness work right now. So when you're doing this work, see what's governing you. Is it all about you? Is that the narrative that you're spinning in your mind? Right? Is that governing? It's all about me. If they don't do me like this, if I don't get my way in this regard, if I don't do this, if this doesn't happen, all of that stuff. What's governing? And number 3, contribute to the dream practically. Choose one action this week that builds unity. All right. So you can reach across the divide. You can intentionally see somebody that's totally different than you and spark a conversation. If fear is governing, then you're not going to be able to walk up to them and start a conversation because you're going to be trying to figure out, are they going to accept me? They're going to shun me? What's going to happen? So if you still have that little bit of anxiety for that, then choose something different. But I want you to get to the point where you can have a conversation with another individual that is different than you and really listen for what they're saying. With all of my children, I had to give them balance, right? And it was tough to give balance sometimes because what I really wanted to do is kind of respond to everything that I didn't have growing up and how things didn't happen for me growing up. So I wanted to be able to do all the things for them that I couldn't do, that I didn't get, right? And it just didn't happen that way. I wasn't able to financially give them everything that I wanted them to have. So I chose to give them love, to give them some type of balance. And in that balance, they were, of course, going to be angry at some things that I said, some judgment calls or some things that I put out there. But what I understood is this: I have to correct them, but I also want to give them something else. I want to give them someone that believes in them. I want to give them someone else. And when I say believes in them, I mean your gifts, your talents, your abilities. Like, listen, I have probably highlighted my children in different ways. You've seen it on social media and all that, but they are some gifted churn. Do you hear me? And yes, I said churn. They are some gifted churn. And all of those creative ideas, all of those unique expressions that God lives out through them are meant to be shown to the world. So even in the discipline that comes with love, the correction that comes with love, the love that's trying to cause you to grow, right? Because we're not forever with our children. They're forever our children, but they are not our forevers. In other words, they have forevers of their own to find. Their unique paths, their unique mates, their unique, where they have children, their careers, all that. They have their own forever to establish. So while you have them in your space, you teach them the balance of life. You teach them that, hey, you might do this here, but if you do this out there, this is going to happen. So let's teach you how not to do this in here so that you don't do it out there, right? But in that, it's going to be frustrating. It's going to be aggravating for them. It was aggravating for me for sure. So you support, you love, you say, hey, look, this is who you are. This is what I see. You are good at this. You are great at this. That right there could use some work, but you still get it. Don't stop doing it. Keep it moving. The balance of love is like that. It is all things. It's all encompassing. And so when you begin to talk to and deal with other people, find out how you can find that balance. The balance of you being yourself, having your standard, having the principles that you live by, but also being able to engage with others who are not like you. My children are from a whole different generation. I mean, I got a couple of generations in there. All right. And so they're from different generations. And my older four are always kind of like, well, I don't know. I'll put RJ, I'll put my 18-year-old on the second half because he kind of was at that age of, you're abusing me. Because listen, it was front leaning rest position. Get down there. Either you're going to get a whooping or you're going to get this thing on front leaning rest position. So he kind of was, started off in that stage. But my older ones look at my younger ones and they feel like, y'all ain't getting the same mama we got. But I was at a different level of maturity with them, right? And the more you grow and the more you mature, the more you shift because you learn and you apply. But that's two different generations. That's different personalities, all living in the same space. So me learning about them was just important as them understanding who I was as a parent, who I am as a parent, right? So when you start engaging with people who are not like you, they are not from your generation, they are not from your culture, they are not from your religious background, they are not from the same sexual preference, they don't have the same sexual preference as you, those type of things. How about you start getting to know people and embrace these lines that we've been placing in the sand? So that's your third call to action. Contribute to the dream practically by really engaging with someone else that is not like you. Yeah, ask some questions, learn some things, be present. Be present. I want to encourage you also today. In this. I am not here to tell you that growing and maturing in this is going to be easy. I am here to tell you that it won't be until you get to a certain stage where it's sweatless. It's your natural self. Right now, you are beginning to shift and change and grow. And so because that is the case, It's going to feel uncomfortable sometimes when you have to check your heart, even though you feel like they're in the wrong. Oh my. Right? You got to check your heart even when you feel like they are in the wrong. You have to check your inner self, your kingdom, see what's governing there. Even if you're looking at them and you know, and even if you know that something that they did was not acceptable. The love walk approach is going to give you a different perspective, not because stuff should be excused, but because the principles already take care of themselves. And God, love, is trying to protect you from becoming the very thing that hurt you, because then you're going to be the one sowing seeds of discord, sowing seeds of strife, sowing seeds of hatred, sowing seeds of envy and jealousy. You're going to be the one now sowing that if you allow this pain, this hurt, the traumas, all that stuff to affect your life. And so when God is showing you and God is teaching you, and love is literally embracing you and saying, hey, I know that it's hard. I know that that's tough, but trust the principles that are already in place. Also trust the fact that I love them just as much as I love you. So give them room to mature and to grow. But for you, it's going to feel like, sometimes. But if you continue, if you keep yourself in a place like this where you're learning the practical tips, if you're taking this book and you're reading it over and over again if you need to, you're beginning to put something within yourself that says, hey, I am not that person. I am this person. And I refuse to let any life circumstances to make me to be anybody other than who I am. I've had to learn to do that over time. There's been so many things that happened to me, things that other people did and things that I did to myself. I had to forgive myself for a lot of things. You're going to have a lot of these moments. You're going to have a lot of highs and lows. You're going to have a lot of these. But the more you practice, the easier it gets, because it becomes your norm. It becomes the truth of who you are. And so don't give up. Now, every path, no matter what path you take, whether it's this love walk approach or not, is going to have these same things that I'm talking about. You start a new practice, you go to a new church, you go to a new organization, you start a new job, you start a new relationship, whatever it is, wherever you go, you are still going to have to deal with certain challenges. And whatever you need for your life to grow, you're going to have to experience it regardless. So take a pause, take a breath. Do unto others as you would have them to do, have them do unto you. If you don't want to be mistreated, don't mistreat others. If you don't want to be lied to, don't lie to others. I think that's probably one of the things that my kids hate the most. That, like, because that thing has to come back at some point. So let's erase these lines. All right. If you have not downloaded your book, please do. I want you to be included in this conversation. I want you to be able to follow what I'm saying, because you already read the chapters and you already understand where I'm going. Next week, I'm going to be talking from a different book, but it still ties into this. So Love as the Master Healer, a spiritsoulistic journey to wholeness, I wrote last year. And that was my personal testimony about what what love has done to heal me and to begin the healing process, because it's consistent a lot of times. But I'm going to talk a little bit about that next week, and to help you understand how this all ties together, because love is the master healer. Then I'll hear from heaven and I'll heal this land. The healing of this land is going to happen when we go within ourselves, because the week after that, we're going to be talking about it being an inside job. That's the introduction. So go ahead and get the introduction read. All right. But we're going to talk about love being the master healer, so we understand what's happening in this time. All right. And so let's do this love walk affirmative prayer together. Many of you may have already listened to it on YouTube, on Facebook, on TikTok, or whatever, on Instagram, but we're going to pray it together again today. Hey, also, Treasures Arc of Love is open. I think it's in the description. You can join for free. Come on in there for free. Why? Because I love giving. I do. I love giving. I love being able to pour into others and anybody is free to come into that space. It is our spiritual holistic hub, which means that it's the spiritual. I'm going to definitely connect with you as far as the love walk is concerned, because that's the foundation of everything that I do, by the way. My coaching and everything is grounded in the fact that love is the master healer. But over there at Treasures Arc of Love, you can come on in there for free. And we do have 2 other tiers. One of the tiers is our basic, coaching tier. Coaching is something different. Well, not different, but it's the coaching is the place where you have to say, I'm ready for this. I'm willing to do this work. All right. So you can come on into the hub. You can be there with us. You can get all the encouragement, the inspiration. You can be with us when we go live in different times and all of that. But when you get ready to be coached, when you say that, hey, yeah, I know my heart is like this and I really need to get this stuff healed, then you start your coaching. And the first tier is that first level of coaching. You can go over there and read about it. And then we have the second tier, which takes us deeper into our healing. This is the place where we say, you know what, no holds barred. I'm here for it. I know what I need to do, and I'm going to do the work. All right. But you can go in there. We're doing everything in that space. That means you get all of me in that place. Well, almost all of me, right? Somebody got a reserve, right? But you get the best of the inspirational treasure in that space. But it is free to join. Please click that link. It says Inspire Oppression. That's because that's what we do teach as far as our coaching is concerned, to the art of Inspire Oppression. And so tap on that. Yeah. And join us there. And when you're ready, you can upgrade at any time. You are not being forced to. I will encourage it if you need it, but I will not force you to do anything, because anything forced is not faith. And I need you to do everything in faith. All right. So let's do this love walk affirmative prayer, and then we're going to be out. Thank y'all for joining me for season 2, episode 2 on 222. Also over there, if you want to be a Love Walk Vision partner, please do so. I encourage you to sow where you are fed. All right. Same way you go to a restaurant and you eat and you make sure that they're good. And hopefully you give a good tip to your waiters and servers. Please make sure that in this space, if you have been influenced, impacted, if you resonate with anything, that you consider becoming a Love Walk Vision partner with us. We have some things that we want to do this year, and we need your help to do it. Okay. There are things over there you can download, but those tools are ringing. And don't hold back. We need it all. Gracious love, we thank you for being the source that unites us beyond every dividing line. We are grateful that your wisdom governs hearts before it governs systems. Today, we set our intention to embody the dream of unity rooted in dignity, respect, and peace. We acknowledge that we have tribes, strengths, identities, and unique expressions, and we honor them. Yet we declare that love is greater than division and wiser than hostility. We choose to allow love to discipline our thoughts, our reactions, and our words. Erase from our hearts the lines that produce fear instead of understanding. Teach us to protect dignity across difference. Help us to participate in the healing of this land through inner alignment. Help us to participate in the healing of this land through inner alignment. May we become living witnesses of unity without uniformity, and may we walk as love among us, as us, and for us. It is so, and so it is. Amen and hallelujah. Before we go, I'm going to give you those 3 love walk call to actions again. So please make sure that you take heed to these and you do your best to apply it. Number 1, listen to or re-listen to Dr. King's entire I Have a Dream speech. It's a historical speech, but this is not about history. This is about the message that love has been trying to get across to us for so many different dispensations. Ask yourself the question, what is spiritual about this? What still remains unfinished? And what is my role in its continuation? Number 2, examine your inner throne. Whew. This is it. This is the inner work. What is governing? Who is governing within you? Is it love? Is it fear? Is it anger? Is it doubt? Is it unbelief? Is it pessimism? What is it that's governing within you? For the kingdom of God, the kingdom of love, the kingdom of heaven is within you. So, what's governing your kingdom? Number 3, contribute to the dream practically. Sit with people that you are not the same as. Intentionally do something to learn more about them, to grow, to literally approach this thing with love walking, because the same way you don't want to be judged, mistreated, thrown aside because of your idiosyncrasies, neither does someone else. So we begin to learn and we begin to grow. And even if we still choose not to participate in something that they do, it's okay because we're unique beings. But let's start somewhere. This is a unity thing. And that's what love is all about. I love you so much. Just because I can. Thank you for joining me again today. For those of you who have given, who have sown your resonant seed or sown a love offering, I pray manifold blessings. I pray that you literally get calls throughout this week showing you favor, things that you've been waiting for. May they begin to come to pass. I pray that all things that are for your good begin to align and you are aware of them. Yes, yes. Many blessings to you, and I'll talk to you again soon.